Good afternoon, I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. We are having a hot day and we could see another round of isolated downpours later on this afternoon. We're seeing some cumulus clouds that are in place over Houston. This is looking at the Texas Medical Center with mostly just hot and sunny skies out there. So definitely practice those heat safety measures, as we could see the high temperature this afternoon get near 100 degrees. And so it's important to look before you walk, wear sunscreen, wear light colored clothing, not wearing dark clothing, because that does attract the sunlight and makes you hotter as we head into the warmer parts of the day, which is between the hours of 2 to 4 p.m. So as we look at our weather headlines, more isolated showers, more scattered storms are expected this weekend, as we are going to see this high pressure system sort of just retreat back towards California. It's really what's been causing us to be mostly hot and humid, but as that high pressure system moves out of the way, it will open up the door for more unsettled weather for the weekend. And so the tropics are also ramping up. We have some new outlooks from NOAA that they just released today, and so they've made some tweaks in their seasonal forecast. But if you are heading out this weekend, maybe you're heading to back to school shopping, maybe taking advantage of tax-free weekend, we're seeing hot and humid conditions, highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s. Stormy conditions expected for the afternoon hours. So we can't roll out a few of those downpours to make their way through southeast Texas once again this afternoon. So just keep that in mind if you are planning to do those shopping plans. Maybe get them done earlier in the day. So those current temps right now, we are sitting at 90 degrees already across Bush Airport, 93, 90 degrees at Hobby, Galveston at 89 degrees. Dew points are also pretty elevated out there. We are in the 70s in terms of the dew point. So that in turn, the atmospheric moisture is just making the feels like temps all the more hotter out there, as we're also getting some sunshine for us here across the area for today. So feels like temps when you factor in the humidity, feeling like 102 at Bush, 101 at Tomball, 99 at Hobby, 102 in Galveston, 97 at Brenham, 100 degrees out in Columbus. So as we look at the rest of our day, we are expecting temps to get up to about 97, 99 degrees, but we're tracking that sea breeze frontal boundary that's currently along the coast. That's going to start moving inland once again. We're already seeing a downpour making its way closer to 45 just to the northwest of Galveston. So those downpours still very well possible, and we could see some of these moving into the Houston area at least between the hours of 2 o'clock to 3 p.m. later on today. So downpours possible maybe between 3 and 4, usually the warmer parts of the day. Feel the storm activity, and that's going to be the case for today. So be on the lookout for the roadways in terms of reduced visibility, as well as some hazardous road conditions and slick road conditions. Give yourself enough time to head across the city for this afternoon, not be in a rush, because that could lead to some accidents. But we're going to see mostly calm conditions for tomorrow as well. But we are tracking this high pressure system that's currently over West Texas. It's really the cause of what's bringing us the heat and humidity that we've been seeing for the past few days. However, as we head into the rest of the week, into the weekend, we're going to see that move off towards the west. It's going to open up the door for more storm chances, as we're going to see a little bit of a minor low pressure system sort of originate across the Gulf there, but looking rather weak. But it's still going to bring those daily rain chances for us as we head into Saturday and into Sunday. And you're able to see that with our looking at the rainfall each and every afternoon. You just see the pulsing of the storms and the rain for the coastal areas as we progress through the weekend. So the rain chance is just really not going away for the afternoon. It's going to still remain unsettled, but we're going to have mostly quiet conditions in the early parts of our day. So the latest drought conditions were released from the U.S. Drought Index. They are still keeping drought conditions in place for areas west of Houston. We are in good standing here across southeast Texas. We've seen quite a bit of rain for the past few months, and so we're not looking at any drought conditions. They're also seen improvements out west where they were experiencing catastrophic rain levels out in the Texas Hill Country. But for us, we are not expecting anything in terms of significant rainfall that's going to be bringing any type of flooding for us here, at least for the next few days. So high temps are going to be in the upper 90s, low hundreds. Going to see a little bit of a cool down by Wednesday and Thursday, but we're also tracking the tropics. The tropics are actually pretty active out there in the Atlantic basin. We had Tropical Storm Dexter. It has weakened into a post-tropical storm. That's going to be heading off towards Europe and not pose a threat to us. So far, all of the disturbance that you do see here in the Atlantic basin will not be a threat to southeast Texas, at least for the next 7 days. And so we have just another little minor disturbance just off the coast of the Carolinas that has a 30% chance chance development. One wave off the coast of Africa has a 60%. Once this forms, it's more likely that that system is going to just remain over open water and move to the north. That's what we're looking at right there. It's just sort of going to sort of fizzle out and just remain over the Atlantic and not pose a threat. It's going to be a fish storm, as they call it, as we head into the next few days. However, weather models are hinting at another wave emerging off the coast of Africa. This is what we're really going to have to keep an eye on for the middle of next week. Once that wave emerges, that could survive and make it across the Atlantic. So a secondary wave is expected to move through off the coast of Africa, and this is what we're really going to have to keep an eye on. Of course, it's too early to tell where this system might be going, but usually when these systems form south of a certain, I believe is the 30-60 line, that usually ends up still remaining in contact with warmer waters, and that could still survive as it makes its way across the Atlantic, maybe arriving in the Caribbean. So something that we're keeping an eye on, but again, too early to tell where that system could be headed. We are heading closer to the peak of hurricane season. That peak date is September 10th. We're around August 7th. And so as we get closer to September, that's when we usually see more of the activity in the tropics, and it's sometimes where we usually see most of our storms here across the Gulf and southeast Texas. We've had Hurricane Harvey that had happened. Also, we had Hurricane Ike. Those are some historic storms that we've seen in Houston's history that we've been impacted within the past 20 years. And so just keep in mind that we also had Hurricane Rita that hit extreme southeast Texas. I believe that happened. You also had Hurricane Katrina as well. That was in early September. So some of the significant storms happening at the end of August, early September, and that's what we are expecting to look out for the next couple of months. So looking at your 7-day forecast, expect those conditions to remain mostly hot and humid. Practice those heat safety measures because we could be at 100 for tomorrow afternoon. Overnight lows in the 70s. We will have an isolated chance for showers and storms for tomorrow afternoon as well, but might see more of those downpours in the afternoon hours for the weekend. Like I said, that high pressure system moving off towards California, bringing some unstable weather, and we might see a little bit of a minor low that could bring that rain chance for Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday. Monday, first day of school for a lot of students across southeast Texas, and it's looking like it's going to be a hot one. Might need to bring a rain jacket if the kids are heading home for dismissal, because we're going to see high of 97, lows in the 70s. Isolated rain chances lasting through much of next week, so definitely just be on the lookout for those downpours and be cautious on those roadways if you are making your way home during the afternoon hours. And so if you're just now joining our KHOU 11 Plus live stream, we are tracking some just hot conditions. We're expecting to start our weekend off. I know it's Thursday, but of course we're looking forward to the weekend because we have a lot of shopping to do as the kiddos head back to school. Highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s. Storm activity happening in the afternoon hours, but we are expecting the rest of this afternoon to be just quite hot and humid with highs in the 90s, lows might get down to like 88, 89 for later this evening. But we're also tracking the possibility for some of us to have a little bit of a downpour or two by 3 to 4 p.m. You're able to see that icon right there that's showing that potential for some downpours that could bring some hazardous road conditions and slick roadways. Radar right now looking mostly quiet for Houston, but that's not the case for areas to the south of town along 45 near just south of Lake City. There's going to be a downpour that's going to be moving closer towards that region. Angleton, Freeport, you have isolated downpours, and you're able to see that little bit of a boundary that's moving off towards, see that little bit of a faint line moving off towards Alvin. That's the sea breeze front, and usually what happens during the afternoon hours, that moves inland, and that really is what brings a lot of this storm activity closer towards Houston during those afternoon hours. It's the sea breeze front that usually brings downpours and some isolated downpours, and so just keep in mind that we are still tracking that. So if we're seeing storms right now, that's just a good sign that that could be the case for this afternoon, as our atmosphere is still a little bit unstable. Also, we're seeing some cumulus clouds out there, which also is another sign of unstable atmosphere across southeast Texas. So downpours possible between maybe the hours of 3:30 to 4 p.m. So just keep an eye on those roads and those road conditions, as that's really not going to last all too long. It's going to be very brief, but then that's going to also be the case for Friday afternoon as well. So keep that in mind. And as we head to the weekend, high pressure system moving off towards California, that's going to up our rain chances for the weekend. So definitely be on the lookout for those afternoon storms. If you have any outdoor plans, maybe shopping plans, get them done earlier in the day, as well as waiting until 3 or 4 p.m. because that's when those storms could pose a risk for some hazardous road conditions. You don't want those new school uniforms to be wet, don't you? So you might want to just avoid being out there by 3, 4 p.m. if you are doing some shopping, as well as maybe buying some new shoes for kids. I know that was my thing, is getting new shoes and then it rains and then they're automatically dirty after 3 days when I was in elementary. That was the worst thing ever. But be on the lookout for those storms as we head into later on those afternoon hours. So as we look at the next 10 days, high temps in the 90s, 100-degree temps likely for Friday, but we're still going to be in the upper 90s for much of next week. But we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly just hot and humid. Some of us might be fortunate enough to get one of these downpours that could cool temperatures off just briefly, but the humidity is still going to be there. So we're still going to see just those feels like temps in the upper 90s and hundreds. So as far as your 7-day forecast, highs in the hundreds for tomorrow likely, but we will see more of that rain activity for the weekend, and then that's going to last at least through the start of next week with isolated showers and storms. And so each and every rain chance that you do see here on the 7-day forecast, that's going to be for the afternoon hours, and it's all thanks to that sea breeze front that we've been, sounds like a broken record, we've been talking about it for the past few weeks, and all this rain that we received all summer. So of course, make sure to tune in later today for the KHOU 11 news at 4 p.m. Of course, myself will be there along with Sherman Chow and Ron Trevino with the latest news and weather updates. And later on, Chief Meteorologist David Paul coming in and doing the 5 p.m. newscast, as well as the 6:30 extended forecast stream on KHOU 11+. And as always, make sure to get the latest weather updates on KHOU.com and downloading the KHOU 11 app. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your extended forecast, and thank you for watching KHOU 11+.